Okay, Sammy, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Thank you.
Right on. The last one was quite the long podcast. This one, I assure you, is going to be a little bit shorter, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
My two questions for Sammy is, which fan base is going to explode when they don't make the playoffs? Vegas or Edmonton?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those two teams that I think are getting knocked out. And the team that probably not, and the team, well, not the team that probably does, the team that would knock either one of them out would be Vancouver, which makes me happy. But regardless, Vegas, their fan base pretty much at the beginning was, I've overpromised a cup in their first 5 years. Now, I don't really think that was a smart move to promise that, but we all thought after their first season, well, hey, maybe that can happen. And then the last 4 years, they've been fantastic. And so the expectations this year, especially after trading for Jack Eichel, was, cup or bust. And right now, the fact that they are sitting, Vancouver is a point behind them for that second wild card spot. Same thing with Dallas. It's not really looking good for Vegas right now, especially with Robin Lehner out. They got two backups that are they're backups. They're not. I don't think they're capable of carrying this team. I don't know. Their fan base would not be too thrilled. I don't think. But and then Edmonton, I don't know. They're wasting away McDavid and Draisaitl's prime, so they got to do something too. And Edmonton's been a long time coming for them to put something together, something real together.
So I think Edmonton's fan base is going to be worse off. And I'll tell you why. It's a Canadian market. We know how Canadian markets are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That right there, I think, is the edge. I get what you're saying with Vegas, and they went to the promised land in year one. And what game did that go to? Game 7, I think?
5.
Oh, game 5.
Washington knocked them off in 5.
But still, year one.
Yep.
And you make it to the Stanley Cup final.
Yep.
So the Daniel Negreanos of the world and all that live in Vegas, all those poker players that actually follow the Golden Knights and that have a high expectation on the Golden Knights. That being said, right now, because they're on this losing streak, there's Eichel haters already in Vegas. Like there's people that are like, this guy's useless. Why did we get this guy? So, And I think the real hockey fans like you and me that really do some digging understand, hey, this team is loaded with LTIRs right now. You keep talking. I'm going to bring up their LTIRs right now on Cap.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas, they're definitely not hitting the potential that they should. And like you're talking about with Jack Eichel, when they traded for Eichel, I remember getting the notification about that, and I was like, "Oh, Vegas has got to be considered tops for contention, alongside of back-to-back Tampa, Colorado." And I was like, Vegas has to be probably, I'd say, third in line for contention in that spectrum. And then as the season has gone along, that's quickly dropped, as Florida suddenly is the best team in the NHL, one of the best teams in the NHL. Carolina, same thing, has jumped up there as one of the best teams in the league. And now with Calgary's emergence too as being an incredible team, Vegas has dropped out of serious contention. I mean, and again, once the playoffs hit, anything can happen. Like we saw St. Louis when they won the Cup in 2019. When St. Louis won the Cup in 2019, they were the worst team in the league in January.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get a coaching change. Craig Berube go on this incredible run, barely make the playoffs, and then they just soar through the playoffs and win a cup. I'm hoping that happens to Vancouver this year. Probably very unlikely, but I'm hoping it happens to Vancouver. So
let me just interrupt you real quickly, Sam.
Yeah.
So this is their injuries.
Okay.
Mark Stone, injury reserve. Alex Martinez, injury reserve. Ben Hutton, COVID-19 protocol. Matisse Youngmart, day to day. Brendan McNabb, day to day. Robin Leonard, day to day. Riley Smith, day to day. Max Pacioretty, day to day.
Oh,
That's a wounded team if I've ever heard of one.
I didn't realize Pacioretty was out too. Yeah, that's like all of those players are like starting players for them.
Yeah.
Or like roster guys.
And that's their fall from grace. People don't understand that. People just, Eichel, he sucks. Like, you lost half of your team is injured. Like, you've your core players. That's like McDavid, Nurse, Draisaitl, and Nuge, and then maybe Yamamoto, and like
Koskinen.
You're not, you're not going to get much. You're not going to be able to win when you have, So Vegas fans, chill out. Chill out.
Yeah.
Don't become like us Edmonton fans, neurotic and all crazy.
Yeah, then they have a lot of injuries, so I'd understand if they're then being upset. But I'd like, I don't know, just wait. If the playoffs hit and Vegas does make the playoffs, which is likely, if they make the playoffs and all those guys come off injured reserve, you suddenly slot all those guys back in, and if they all play up to their potential, I don't see why Vegas doesn't make the conference finals or potentially the Stanley Cup final. If Vegas and Colorado met in a conference final, wow, like that would be an incredible series. Still think Colorado wins it, but that'd be a crazy series. So like anything can happen, but Edmonton, like you said, Canadian market, and we might be biased because we're Canadians and live in Canadian markets, but these markets are nuts. Not that there's not American markets that aren't crazy for their teams, but Edmonton has been in the tank for over a decade at this point. Yeah. Other than the last couple years where they've made the playoffs, they had that one playoff run.
The last 2 years they won one. So the Chicago was a play-in year, so it wasn't even. They didn't even make the playoffs technically in the COVID in the bubble year because they had to play in and they lost to Chicago.
Yeah.
Then they got swept by Winnipeg last year.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to cry.
Yeah.
So yes, for me being a diehard Oiler fan from the beginning of time, those are hard on the heart, but they happened, right?
Well, in that Anaheim series too, don't forget that one in 2017.
Yeah.
They still think they should have won that one, but you know.
And then there was the Stanley Cup final in 2006 and I literally remember sitting at my friend's house in Edmonton and I saw Bergeron plow into
Edmonton's goalie.
Yeah, I can't.
Dane
Rolson, yes. Can't think. I'm not thinking today. So yeah, that was I knew right there and then. That's it. I even said I looked at him. I go, we just lost the Stanley Cup. So and we did, but they made it. Markkinen, I believe it was Markkinen. Yeah, Markkinen made a freaking amazing effort. He took it to Game 7, and that's all you could ask for.
With Rolison, I think Edmonton probably wins that cup.
Yeah, but
at the same time, Cam Ward as a rookie was playing out of his mind that year, and Carolina was a very good team that year. So who knows?
Well, it's the one thing that my buddy said in that year is they looked, and now we're kind of getting off topic, but they looked in Game 7. They looked like a deer in headlights. They just were too overwhelmed with the wow factor that hey, this is Stanley Cup. So
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I think in my opinion, the overall idea of which fan base is going to be worse, I think basing on the fact that it's a Canadian market, I think there's more. It's tough to say because Vegas is also the very first professional sport to hit Vegas too. So that's kind of their baby too, right? So I think it's going to sting either way.
Oh yeah, majorly for sure.
Alrighty, Sammy. It's always nice chatting with you, brother.
Yes, sir.
You take care, my friend.
You too, man.